Welcome class 9 students. Today I have come here with a poem Wind, which is written in Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan, and later on it was translated by Subramania Bharti into English. And basically this poem Wind is known as a kind of blackbirds as because there is no rhyming scheme in the poem. So that's why the poem is known as a kind of blank verse. Let's try to understand why it is a kind of blank verse. Because the first line ends with softly, second line ends with windows, third line ends with papers, fourth line ends with self. So no rhyming scheme is there in this poem. So that's why we may consider this poem as a kind of blank verse. Now let's try to analyze the poem systematically. What is there in this poem? Why the poet has written this poem? What is the basic purpose of writing this poem? The basic purpose of the poet is to make aware of the people about the destructive qualities of the wind. At the same time, how we could make friendship with the wind. These two are the important factors of the poem. Now try to understand. Wind comes softly, don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. So till now what happened? The At the beginning of the poem, the poet is complaining to the wind that what happens if the wind is turned into storm? What happens if the storm attacked on the earth or attacked the heavenly beings? Or if the storm comes, what happens? What are the consequences of storm? All these things are mentioned over here. It breaks the shutters, it scatters the papers, okay, it throws down the books from the shelf, it tears the pages. All these are the destructive qualities of the wind. Not only this, the poet also present you brought rain again. Rain, somehow rain is supposed to be considered as a kind of the thing of creation. At the same time, it is also considered to be a thing which may be destructive. If it is in too much on the earth, it creates flood. So flood is not supposed to be considered as a kind of creative thing. Rather, it is supposed to be considered as a kind of destructive thing. But rain helps to grow the crops if it is in a limited form on the earth. Now, try to understand. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings, frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, climbing raptors. So you are very clever at poking. So this is also kind of blaming towards whom? This is also kind of blaming towards the uh, wind, that the wind usually makes fun of whom? Makes fun of the weaklings. Weakling means the weak things on the earth, such as and it what happens? It destroys the houses. Crumbling houses means what happens if the storm attacks the earth? What happens? It crumbles the houses, it crumbles the doors, it destroys the doors, it destroys the houses, it destroys the rafters, it destroys the wood, it destroys the bodies, it destroys the lives. Not only so, storm does not impact on the lively beings only, rather it impacts on the earth totally if it is there in a harsh form. So the now next try to understand. So not only the human beings but also all kinds of creatures gets impacted due to the harsh qualities of the wind, or you could say the destructive qualities of the wind. Now try to understand. the wind code the wind code winnows and crushes them all. So uh, according to Hindu mythology, we have categorized our gods in different, according to their accents, because we have god for the knowledge, we have god for fire, we have god for water. So wind god, in Hindu mythology, wind god is supposed to be Pavandev. So he winnows means making of air. So here the wind gets its origin from the wind god, and that means what the poet wants to say, that wind doesn't come or wind doesn't get its origin by itself, rather it is created by the wind god, and it is the impact of, or it is the result of winnowing of the wind god. And the wind god crushes them all. Here he doesn't want to blame the wind, rather he wants to blame the wind god who crushes all the things of the earth through winnowing. He won't do what you tell him. So that means he is none but the wind god here. So if we will tell to him to be soft, to be calm, to be lively, to be supportable on the earth, to help the lives on the earth, okay, uh, he will not do according to our request, or he will not act according to our request. Rather he will act in his own way. He will crumbles all these things, he will crumbles all the things on the earth. He will act in his own way. He will not follow the instruction, rather instruction not, he will not allow anyone in his action. He won't do what you tell him. So whatever we will request him, if we will request him to be calm, to be soothed, okay, he will not be soothed, or he will not be calm to help the life beings on the earth. So come, let's build strong homes. So at last now, this is a kind of different tone. This is a kind of different tone in the poem. The poem, from here, the poem gets a different tone. Till now, what the poet has presented, he won't do what you tell him. Till this line, the poet has presented the destructive qualities of the wind, what cannot be controlled. So if the wind cannot be controlled, so we have to adjust ourselves with the wind. So what we could do, we have to build our strong homes. That means we have to build our houses very strong, that the wind will not be able to shatter it. Let's join the doors firmly, practice to firm the body, make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. So every kind of precaution to be taken to to make friend with the wind, because it's not possible, or it's not it cannot be possible to get any kind of help from the wind god. Wind will be soft and calm, and he will help us to live on the to be alive on the earth. Rather he will act in his own way. So let him do what he wants, but we will act in our own way. We have to protect ourselves, we have to adjust with the storm. So we also, we the human being also try to be, or must try to be very bold and very strong to protect ourselves. So the doors must be joined very firmly, houses must be built very strong, our heart must be very steadfast. Okay, we need to be very hearted person. So do this, and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires, he makes strong fires store and flourish. So what happens, so if the fire is there, if weak fire is there, weak fire means twinkling of the fire. If the twinkling of the fire is there, so wind has the potentiality to what happens, to extinguish the fire. So if the twinkling fire is there, if a small fire is there, twinkling fire is there, so wind has the potentiality to extinguish the fire. But if there is roaring of fire, if there is strong fire on the earth, wind doesn't have power to stop it or to extinguish it. Rather it will help to flourish. Flourish means to develop. So if the strong fire is there, so if we have the strong houses, if we have the strong determination, or if we have the strong if we try to adjust ourselves with the wind, wind doesn't have potentiality, rather wind will help us to flourish. So his friendship is good, we praise him every day. So the friendship of wind is supposed to be very kind of good one. We praise him every day. So here wind is supposed to be considered, we may compare this poem with the bad happenings or the obstacles of our life. Obstacles of our life, if obstacle comes in our life again and again, we have to adjust with the obstacles. We have to make ourselves very much strong enough to protect ourselves from the obstacles, or to fight with the obstacles. So and in this way, if we are quite able to fight with obstacles, so no one, or any kind of obstacle, or no obstacle will be able to stop us to achieve our goal.